एक पीरियड ऑफ जॉबलेसनेस आया, कहाँ आईएएस की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, कहाँ जॉबलेस घर बैठा हूँ. बाय दिस टाइम आई वाज रियली कंफ्यूज्ड, इज दिस माय रियली इंटरव्यू गोइंग ऑन और आर दे जस्ट टेकिंग माय इंटरव्यू फॉर द सेक ऑफ इट, बिकॉज आरबीआई is very famous or infamous for giving single digit marks. The question was, what will you bring to RBI, or why do you want to come to RBI?
Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. Today I have with me a very special guest, a newly selected RBI Grade B officer, Mr. Anmol Narula. Welcome Anmol.
Thank you ma'am.
We are very glad to have you here today. थोड़ा सा introduction आप खुद दीजिए please अपने बारे में.
Sure. So firstly, hi fellow aspirants. I am Anmol Narula, currently an SBI PO and now a newly minted RBI Grade B officer. Firstly, I want to, at the very first, give a disclaimer. This is not a topper's talk. This is an aspirant's talk, where I will share whatever I've learned through my journey of being an aspirant for a long time before this UPSC, Civil Services, and now RBI Grade B. So that's it.
So, we have got to know a lot of things from this introduction. Currently working in SBI from past 1 year, he is working as an SBI PO.
Yes, ma'am.
And he has prepared for UPSC and he has given RBI exams before even this year. This was your third attempt, but basically he did not prepare for his first attempt. So technically, this is his second attempt at
Yes.
RBI.
Yes.
And another very interesting thing that I'd like to share, Anmol has Miss Mitali as wife, who is actually working in RBI already. तो ये काफी interesting story है. थोड़ी सी इसके बारे में बताओ please.
So this interesting story has its beginning in a long time back, at least a decade back. So it's been I'll be speaking somewhat in Hindi, right? Yeah. So वो कहते हैं ना कि कायनात किसी भी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो कायनात पूरे मतलब शिद्दत से लग जाती है तुम्हें उससे मिलाने में. So I and Mitali have been together for a very long time, school, college, IT company, even then after UPSC preparation. So when she went to RBI, I definitely knew there is some kainat working in the background which will take me to RBI itself. So this is again a learning from being an aspirant, that please believe in luck, please believe in a higher power that is definitely working and looking at you. You must do your actions, but always believe that there is someone watching over your shoulder, your guardian angel, in the form of a branch auditor, in the form of your parents, in the form of your friends, in the form of the loved one. I mean, I am really lucky one to have such a wonderful set of people surrounding me and such a wonderful life partner who has been a guide throughout my life.
Such I would say modest introduction. इतनी सारी तारीफें सबकी की हैं अनमोल ने, but I would like to say here one thing. It is the constant hard work. जितनी भी हमने बातें की अनमोल, उससे वन थिंग आई कैन अश्योर, जितने भी एस्पिरेंट्स हैं वो वाचिंग दिस, उनको ना ये चीज़ें बहुत अच्छी ज़रूर लगेंगी जो आप बोल रहे हो, बट दे ऑल्सो नीड टू नो कि जो आपने कॉन्स्टेंट एफर्ट लगाते रहे, आप सबको आपने क्रेडिट दिया, लेकिन आई वुड लाइक टू गिव दिस क्रेडिट टू यू योर सेल्फ, जिसने डिस्पाइट ऑफ ऑल द सिचुएशंस, ऑड सिचुएशंस, आप लगे रहे. तो वही हम आज जानेंगे अनमोल से कि क्या था वो जो उनको मोटिवेट करता रहा और कैसे इन्होंने तैयारी की. तो अनमोल शुरू करते हैं, कहाँ से आरबीआई आया मन में?
सो आरबीआई ग्रेड बी फर्स्टली मेरे मन में, मेरे फादर चीफ मैनेजर रिटायर हुए हैं पंजाब नेशनल बैंक से लास्ट ईयर. सो उनसे मुझे ये बात मतलब आइडिया पता लगा कि ऐसा भी कोई एग्जाम है. एंड वाइल आई वाज आल्सो प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर यूपीएससी, देयर आर सम वेरी गुड यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स who also prepare on the side for the RBI as a plan B. Basically, for me, it's not a plan B. Everybody should consider it a very prestigious job to work for the Reserve Bank, which is an autonomous body as the government of India. And secondly, then once Mitali cleared her grade B in 2019, after that there was no looking back. I'd like to share a very short snippet. I have a very close friend from school, Mr. Rohan Goyal, who's a MD from PGI. तो हम लोग एक दूसरे से ना बचपन से मजाक करते हैं. उसका एम से ग्रेजुएशन है कि रॉकस्टार का एक डायलॉग था, टूटे हुए दिल से संगीत निकलता है, ये खटाना भाई ने बोला था. तो हम लोग एक दूसरे को हमेशा बोलते हैं कि टूटे हुए दिल से रैंक निकलता है. सो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंड विद हिम. उसका ऑल इंडिया रैंक 7 था अपने एमडी में, एंड मेरा भी यहाँ पे अच्छा एक ऑल इंडिया रैंक आया है, आई होप. एंड that is one thing that मतलब heartbreak from the UPSC non-selection and as well as from the separation that I have to go through after my marriage. So अलग अलग रहना, so that was really a very big push factor Obviously, there were other push factors because of the job that you all know I was in, SBI PO. It's a very demanding job, and that was a push factor. But there was also a lot of blessings. Everybody was giving me such positive energy around me कि तुम दोनों प्लीज एक साथ हो जाओ, तुम दोनों एक साथ हो जाओ, सारी लाइफ एक साथ रहो, तुम अच्छे लगते हो. एंड ऑब्वियसली एवरीबडी न्यू माई पोटेंशियल एज मैम सेड. तो ठीक है, थोड़ा क्रेडिट मैं अपने आप को दे देता हूँ कि वो भी सबको पता था. सो दिस इज वाई दे वांटेड मी टू gain in my life, to grow in my life. So I've been lucky enough to get such, again I would say, such people and such situations in my life. बहुत सारे ऑब्स्टिकल्स आते हैं. आई एम क्लियरली सेइंग मेरी लाइफ में बहुत सारे अलग अलग ऑब्स्टिकल्स आए. जैसे एक पीरियड ऑफ जॉबलेसनेस आया, ठीक है, आई एम गेटिंग अ लंप इन माई थ्रोट, बट इट्स ओके. एक पीरियड ऑफ जॉबलेसनेस आया, कहाँ IAS की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, कहाँ जॉबलेस घर बैठा हूँ. फिर पापा रिटायर हो रहे थे. आप मानोगे मेरी बात, पापा मेरे 30 मार्च 2021 को रिटायर हुआ है. मेरा SBI का कॉल लेटर और मुझे LHO रिपोर्ट करना था 30 मार्च 2021. देयर वाज नॉट इवन वन डे.
पानी दो.
Yeah. It's okay. There was not even one day when I had to worry about the financial situation that was impending or looming on my mind. पेरेंट्स के तो थे ही, इतना टाइम मनी एनर्जी इन्वेस्ट किया उन्होंने, बट भगवान ने साथ दिया. तो बैक टू बैक SBI ज्वाइन हुआ उस दिन. पापा की रिटायरमेंट अटेंड की अपने पहले दिन की वेलकम पार्टी अटेंड करके. फिर उसके बाद अभी RBI हुआ. तो ये भी रहता था हमेशा कि वो वहाँ बैठी है या मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ, या कंपेरिजन्स हमेशा रहते हैं, कंपेरिजन्स भी. तो वो सब फाइनली एंड अप हो गया. एंड दैट्स इट. आई वुड से दैट अपने एफर्ट्स और अपने आसपास अपने कस्टमर्स की ब्लेसिंग्स, अपने पेरेंट्स की ब्लेसिंग्स, उसमें जरूर विश्वास करो. सो दैट इज देयर.
वेरी मोटिवेशनल एक्चुअली, दैट वाज वेरी मोटिवेशनल. गाइस, कुछ भी आसान नहीं होता. आप कुछ भी सोचते हैं ना, जब हम करने का, प्रॉब्लम्स आती है, इमोशंस होते हैं हर जगह पे, है ना, इन्वेस्टेड कि मेरा ये होगा नहीं होगा, एफर्ट, इतना हार्डवर्क लगा होता है. पर इवेंचुअली अगर आप लगे रहते हैं, आपके साथ अच्छे लोग जुड़े रहते हैं, तो आप ज़रूर अपनी डेस्टिनेशन पे पहुंच जाते हैं. अनमोल एक बहुत बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है उस चीज़ का. और एक चीज़ और मैं अनमोल यहाँ पे कहना चाहूँगी, स्पेशली द पीपल हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर RBI. बहुत सारे एस्पिरेंट्स हैं जो हु आर ऑलरेडी वर्किंग. उनको ना ये बहुत मुश्किल लगता है कि हो नहीं पाएगा प्रिपरेशन जब तक छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगी, जब तक मैं जॉब चेंज नहीं कर लूँगा या कर लूँगी. तो उसके बारे में आप थोड़ा सा अपने SBI में, क्योंकि एज यू सेड इट इज़ वेरी डिमांडिंग, तो उसके साथ में कैसे, आपने उसके साथ ही प्रिपेयर किया है, तो वो आप उस पार्ट पे थोड़ा टच करके दिखाओ.
सो डेफिनेटली एज मैम सेड कि जॉब के साथ प्रिपेयर करना, वी ऑल नो, एक डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट होती है, और है उन सब फेलो बैचमेट्स के लिए और उन सब एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए जो ऐसे डिमांडिंग एग्जाम के लिए जॉब के साथ प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं. फर्स्टली. सेकेंडली, लेट मी टेल यू स्ट्रेट आउट देयर, ठीक है, चाहे मैं एक कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट की इंटरव्यू दे रहा हूँ, बाहर मार्केट में ना बहुत देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु कंस्ट्रक्ट नैरेटिव्स अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट ये नहीं हो पाएगा. डोंट लेट, जैसे वो देयर इज अ फेमस डायलॉग, डोंट लेट एनीबडी टेल यू दैट यू कांट डू इट. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई ऑलवेज टेल यू. थोड़ा बिकम पोस्ट मॉडर्निस्ट इन योर थॉट. डू नॉट थिंक दिस विल लीड टू दिस विल लीड टू दैट. देयर इज नेवर अ गिवन स्ट्रेट वे. बी पोस्ट मॉडर्निस्ट and think about it कि मेरा हो जाएगा. We have that confidence. I was showing ma'am before this interview, I showed her a Google Keep note where my interview was on 12th of August 2022. On 13th of August, I made that Google Keep note. I titled it Topper's Talk. So have faith in yourself, have faith in your efforts, have faith, have positive affirmations. Look at yourself as a grade B officer already before becoming one. Only then you will become. You go to that interview room, they want to see a grade B officer in you, not otherwise. You will not become it after getting your result. You have to become it before getting your result. That's one thing. Secondly, I told her clearly, I got a very beautiful, I had a sticker on my car on COVID duty for State Bank of India. On 16th of August, I got a pamphlet printed from my printer on bank duty for Reserve Bank of India. I kept it in my dashboard. The day I got my result, I gave it to my dad. So this is what I'm trying to say. Always have those efforts. Secondly, as ma'am told about how to continue, as ma'am asked about the fact how to do this with a demanding job like an SBI PO, I would like to tell you that this is the emotional part behind it, how to do it. First, have faith in yourself. Secondly, see, the best friend for a person doing this is EduTap in your branch. always learn the power of alt tab. All right, one moment, alt tab, you are studying EduTap PDF, latest marathon session by Kritika ma'am or Gurkirat sir, and the other moment, alt tab, all right, CBS, customer came, account inquiry, passbook issue. This is what you have to do. Believe me, whatsoever. Not which you must ensure that this is not taking away your quality time from your job. You are supposed to do that once, because we all know that SBI PO works till almost 8 in the evening, but the bank shuts down at 4 for public dealing. So after that, whenever you find some time, some quality time, obviously human mind needs rest. So you can do that. Also, during my UPSC preparation, I came across a wonderful teacher who was a IRS himself. He taught me a very good idea. He said, whatever you are studying, make short audio clips in your voice and have your headphones on. In any job with your headphones on, they'll think you are listening to songs and you are just listening to your recordings. Secondly, another hack, constantly my wife was in Ahmedabad, I was in Ambala. Constantly, I was going to airport, pick her up, going to Ludhiana, drop her off, staying with her. In that 1.5 journey to airport, believe me, I don't have some proof. There was always either Ritika ma'am, either Gurkirat sir or Kritika ma'am or any other EduTap video playing at highest volume in my car. And I used to revise those marathon sessions during that trip to airport. And when Mitali was sitting beside, I used to say, please chup rehna, and I will be revising my content again. And this is why I say it was her sacrifice as well. It was my sacrifice. And let me just, divert a bit. Firstly, heartiest apologies to all my friends and all my colleagues. I was living in a cave for the last 3-4 years and they don't know where I went, and they kept on messaging me. I never replied to anybody. I'm not on Instagram, Facebook, social media. बैंक के कारण मैं सिर्फ WhatsApp पे हूँ. I don't know Snapchat वगैरह तो कभी मैंने install भी नहीं किया. So I have not been in touch. Firstly, sorry to them for not being in touch. I hope you forgive me. Now back to my same discussion. So there were a lot of sacrifices involved because you have a very minuscule time left after working, giving your all quality time to SBI or your job. So there were obstacles then. There were elections in Punjab. I was ordered to become a presiding officer, not just a polling officer, but a presiding officer who has to work throughout and has to attend all those rehearsals. So then again, I was frightened by everybody. I told you, postmodernism. Everybody was frightening me. This is a criminal offense. You will be jailed if you don't attend the duty, the rehearsals. I honestly approached the deputy commissioner there at Firozpur. He was my guardian angel. Then he allowed me to skip the exam, to skip the election duty as well as the main election day. He just wrote, all the best for your exam. You are exempted. I was the only one who got an exemption. So you have to make efforts, but there are guardian angels sitting out there. That was there firstly. So to conclude it, firstly, believe in yourself. Secondly, believe that there are positive higher powers in different. Bhagwan har chehre mein aata hai. Us din DC was God in front of me. Although he is a God for everybody. He was the God in front of me that day. Then mera interview 12th of August ko aaya. That day my branch was going through an audit. Audit mein nobody gets a leave. Even auditor is considered as a very, powerful position in those days in a branch. My auditor sir were so graceful and kind enough to me to exempt me and allow me to prepare for the interview as well as go for the interview. My branch manager sir, my auditor sir, all of them. So, unke face mein Bhagwan hai. So the conclusion is believe in higher powers and guardian angels. Third, as I have already touched upon, see, the point is that I am a banker and I'm still in that job and I cannot, disclose a lot of things, how to do it, that we can have on a separate discussion. But make your efforts. However long you can study. And in my personal experience, I have studied for UPSC without a job and I have studied for RBI with a job. Any day studying with a job is much better once you are through with the concepts. This I accept. But when you have a job, you have a very limited time to use it. And you know what you're going to do the next hour and what will happen if it doesn't happen. So believe me, it is very much possible. You can do it. If you want hacks, I can write on the comments down below all the hacks that you can do while preparing. And that has been my journey of preparing with the job. I'm sorry for the long answer.
एक्चुअली ये आंसर काफी एक आपने एक क्वेश्चन को नहीं आंसर किया, आपने मल्टीपल एस्पेक्ट्स को एक्चुअली आंसर कर दिया इससे. तो वर्किंग एस्पिरेंट्स को ये तो कोई डाउट नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज सी दिस हैपेंस एक्चुअली, ये आपने बिल्कुल ठीक बोला अनमोल, दैट पीपल व्हेन दे आर नॉट वर्किंग, तो ना पढ़ाई हो रही है उतने आवर्स, लेकिन बाकी समय किसमें जा रहा है, एंग्जाइटी में,
यूट्यूब,
डिप्रेशन में, इधर उधर देखने में कि और लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, कंपैरिजन में, तो जो इफेक्टिव पढ़ाई का टाइम है ना वो कम ही हो जाता है। तो इफ यू हैव अ जॉब, ऑफ कोर्स पहले थोड़ा बेसिक्स क्लियर कर लिया आपने, या अगर थोड़ा ज्यादा एफर्ट लगेगा तो उसमें एक चीज ये डिसिप्लिन, ज्यादा लगेगा जो डिसिप्लिन आपको, ये इजी नहीं है जो अनमोल बोल रहे हैं, शायद जब आप करोगे तो यू विल रियलाइज, जब आप ट्रैवल कर रहे हो, आप अपने लेक्चर सुन रहे हो, है ना, कहीं पे टाइम मिल रहा है अपने पीडीएफ्स पढ़ रहे हो, लेकिन दैट पेज ऑफ, अनमोल ने आपको एग्जांपल दिया, तो वो एक बहुत अच्छी चीज है। एंड वन मोर थिंग जो आपकी थ्रू आउट आप बता रहे थे ना, तो आई वॉज थिंकिंग दिस एंड आई नीड टू अप्रिशिएट यू फॉर दैट। एक चीज होती है ना कि करेज टू आस्क, आपने वो दिखाया, क्योंकि अगर आपको कोई बोले कि इस ड्यूटी से आपको एग्जाम्पशन नहीं मिल सकती, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर लाइक मुश्किल है, बट यू वेंट, आपने करेज दिखाया और जाके बात की डीसी से, अपने ऑडिटर के एग्जाम्पल दिया, यू हैड द करेज टू आस्क, क्योंकि उनको वो चाहिए था कि अगर मैं पेपर नहीं दूंगा इस वजह से तो मैं बहुत कुछ छोड़ दूंगा, तो आपको वो रखना ही पड़ेगा अपने आप में। ये बहुत बहुत अच्छी चीज बताई। अच्छा अनमोल, इसके अलावा ना थोड़ा सा उस पे आते हैं कि जब आप पढ़ रहे थे, व्हेन यू वर डूइंग द प्रिपरेशन, बहुत सारे ऑब्स्टिकल्स आते हैं, मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन स्टिल यू डिड राइट, तो कुछ ऐसा बताना चाहोगे कि स्ट्रैटेजी काइंड ऑफ, कि फेज 1 स्पेशली, बिकॉज फेज 1 इज स्पेशली आफ्टर 2021 पेपर ऐसा हो गया है कि अब थोड़ा फेज 1 से ज्यादा डर लगता है बच्चों को ना, कि मतलब पता नहीं क्या ही पूछ लेंगे आरबीआई में, तो उसकी स्ट्रैटेजी बताओ कि एक कुछ टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स कि यार ये चीजें कवर करके जानी चाहिए आपको, जीए है फॉर एग्जांपल, इतने मंथ्स का पढ़ो, यहाँ से पढ़ो, कुछ इस तरह की चीजें।
So definitely, and as ma'am picked about the as ma'am ended her question about GA, it's a strong forte for me. I see I got around 45 marks in GA this year, and also one more thing to answer your question, ma'am, about my strategy. See, phase 1 is really holy. आज का today's RBI's phase 1 is equivalent to the phase 1 is equivalent to the scariness factor. It's equivalent to civil services prelims. If you are not worried about it, I am not asking you to be frightened about it. If you are not really serious about it, then you should not be preparing for the exam, because of the fact that I am saying this from personal experience. I was shunned out of the RBI process last year because I was 0.75 marks. I got 0.75 marks less in reasoning sectional. I cleared the overall cutoff. So it's from personal experience. You can take it with a pinch of salt, but that's it. I am here to share my strategy. Secondly, the point is, you can go by my strategy before I discuss about it. But since 236 candidates have qualified, so that means 236 strategies have worked. You can pick and choose. It's not what I say again. Postmodernism is the holy truth. You can pick and choose. So now coming to the strategy, it was clear cut to me that I have to focus on phase 1 very strongly. Secondly, about phase 2, I was not as much worried because I had a UPSC past experience. And then again वो टूटे हुए दिल से रैंक निकलता है, तो UPSC के मेंस के एग्जाम में ना मेरे in GS3 I got the lowest marks, and that day I decided that I will give an exam which is entirely based on GS3 syllabus, economics especially, and I'll crack it. So that is also there. You must always have that kind of a mentality. So that's there. I had my UPSC background, and to add it up, again, obviously goes without saying, EduTap, Team EduTap has been extremely instrumental. Obviously, some other coaching institutes out there have also been helpful, especially their coaching material, free material. But as a whole, I would say both in Vitali's case and in my case, because she also was going through EduTap content only. EduTap has been really instrumental. So that's there about phase 1 and phase 2. About interview, we'll talk later. So yeah.
नहीं अच्छा था, मैं एक्चुअली सोच रही हूँ इस फ्लो में इंटरव्यू की बात कर ही लेते हैं ना। मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है काफी ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग रहा होगा आपका इंटरव्यू, बिकॉज द सॉर्ट ऑफ पर्सन यू आर, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें आपके साथ हुई हैं, और मैं कहूँगी ट्रैक भी की है आपने।
So about interview, coming to interview, I love giving interviews, as you must have figured it out as of now. So about interview, the matter of the fact is that I was scared to my breath. I mean, I had to go through a lot of RBI content, SBI content because of my current job, balance sheets of both banks, and even in my mock interview at both EduTap and other mock interviews that I appeared for, I was really grilled about both the banks because I had a banking background, and then my wife is also in RBI. About her ombudsman department schemes. Last year only the integrated ombudsman scheme was launched. I had to go through a lot of content, and that was all that was going in my mind. What would be the first question that I would be asked? I enter into that holy room. Mr. Shri Amitabh Ranjan ji is who has been an ex-finance secretary. He's sitting in front of me. The first question I was asked from the and before this, I have never shared my transcript. Let me give a disclaimer because nobody would believe me if I would have otherwise. But in all honesty, I am telling you, the first question I was asked was, तुम्हारे यहाँ से बाल white color के क्यों हैं? ये तुमने खुद करवाए हैं या ये natural हैं? This was my first question. And I was like, this is my RBI interview for which I've been reading balance sheets, economic surveys, and it all comes down to my hair. And I also was, see, SBI customers, my relatives, everybody has been asking me this question since the last 7 years. I gave him the same answer. I said, sir, ये दिल्ली का किया धरा है, जो भी है. I said this. I said, ये दिल्ली का किया धरा है, but मुझे डाई करवा के कुछ फेक नहीं प्रेजेंट करना था. I wanted to keep it as a battle sign of living here for the last 6-7 years. So I kept them. And the board, I don't know why, but they all said, wow. They said this. Next question was, I have done a mountaineering course, professional mountaineering course. I love going on treks. I did a Chadar trek. I did some summits. So he asked, ये तुम्हें घूमने फिरने का नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये तुम्हें घूमने फिरने का टाइम कब मिल गया? लोग तो जो यहाँ आते हैं वो तो पढ़ते रहते हैं और क्या कुछ करते रहते हैं. You tell me about how was your mountaineering course? Next question. I mean, by this time I was really confused. Is this my really interview going on, or are they just taking my interview for the sake of it? Because RBI is very famous or infamous for giving single-digit marks. So that's when I was, getting frightened. But at the same time, I maintained my composure. Secondly, mostly you are taught, even in UPSC circles, that if the board is getting informal with you in the interview, you have to stay formal. But back to back, if I am getting asked informal questions and I give mechanical answers, ऐसे करो, ये देखो, ऐसे चलो. So how am I supposed to express my emotions? So I was also very candid with them, continued with them. I told them about mountaineering. Next question, third question, again informal question. College से pass out होने के बाद first novel कौन सी पढ़ी थी? I was again like, and people in Telegram groups, believe me, you would also have been a part of that as a non-candidate or as an aspirant. They tell, अमिताभ रंजन सर मोबाइल चलाते हैं, अमिताभ रंजन सर बीच में से कई बार चले जाते हैं, क्या इस कारण मेरे मार्क्स कम होंगे? Will I get less marks? Will I get less attention? My interview just went on for 7 minutes, for 12 minutes. Really, again, have postmodernist thought. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Nothing is a holy truth. Nothing is holy truth in this race. So, but in my case, it was Ranjan sir who was constantly asking these questions back to back, and other panelists were not even, panicking. Let us ask questions. They were enjoying me. So, and grilling to kya? It was all kidding that was going on there. So he asked me novel. I said ki, I read Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. It was written after the First World War, and it has been with me even on that day of my interview. While my wife was waiting in the waiting hall with my bag, मेरे उस bag में सिद्धार्था थी. I've read it a lot of times and I recommend all of you to read it. So, फिर he said me, give me one-line summary of that book. Shall I continue?
Please.
So he said that Siddhartha. So I said that it's a novel about finding happiness and contentment. So the other panelists, they were discussing something among themselves. So he got to know that other panelists have also read it. Because when I mentioned I've read Siddhartha, half of the panel was like, you have really read it? I said, yes. And then he got to know, and then he asked me a counter question. My fourth question, please tell me the entire plot summary of Siddhartha. Again an informal question. This was with the chairman sir only. I said that the main character, he was first a son of Brahmin, but he thinks that all these things that Brahmins are doing are just, unnecessary. Then he became a sannyasi. He again thought that this is not good. Let me find contentment. He became a businessman, a very rich businessman. Did not find contentment there, even in the materialistic world. And then he became a person जिसको मतलब नदी क्रॉस करवाने वाला, someone who crosses the river or the people from one end to the other end of the river. So he becomes that, and in that he finds contentment. So it is a very beautiful metaphor where he makes people cross the river of ignorance to bliss. So that's his story, and he finds contentment there. At this instant, Ranjan sir took up my biodata. He said, firstly, you were an IT student. Then you went to IT company. After IT company, you went to banking. After SBI, now you are coming to Reserve Bank. In a very cheerful mood, he said, are you telling me your story or his story in the name of plot summary? So I said, see sir, the point is, Siddhartha went to all these 3 stages, but he also went to 4th one, and he found his contentment there. I am here trying to find my 4th stage, so I hope that I also find my contentment there. So at this, he started laughing, and the baton was passed on to the next members, who themselves asked me a few other questions. But see, this is what I was asked in my interview.
एक्चुअली ना आई वॉज एंजॉइंग दिस क्योंकि सिद्धार्था इज अ बुक वेरी क्लोज टू माई हार्ट. मैंने भी वो बहुत पढ़ी, और जब आपने बताया ना कि आपको उसके बारे में पूछा, तो आई वॉज ईगर. जब आपने बीच में पूछा कैन आई कंटिन्यू, आई वॉज लाइक मैं अभी सुनना चाहती हूँ कि आपने उसको कैसे समराइज किया. इट वॉज ब्यूटिफुल, एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली वो कैसे रिलेट कर पाए आपसे. जिनको आप बता रहे हो वो खुद ही रिलेट कर पा रहे हैं आपसे.
एग्जैक्टली.
तो मैं यही कहूंगी कि इसमें तो फिर इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन का तो मैं आपसे क्या ही पूछूं. द टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस गाइस, यू कैन बी रेडी फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन. पॉइंट सिर्फ इतना है, अभी जो अब आप इंटरव्यू प्रिपेयर करोगे, तो ये आपको ये चीजें क्या मोटिवेशन दे रही हैं. कितना भी प्रिपेयर कर लो, क्वेश्चंस कैन बी, इनका कोई आंसर आप पहले प्रिपेयर कर ही नहीं सकते हो इस तरह की चीजों. सो यू हैव टू बी, एक आपका पूरा जो जेन्युइन बोलते हैं ना सबसे ज्यादा कि इंटरव्यू में यू हैव टू बी अ जेन्युइन पर्सन, कि सच बताओ ना उनको, अपने आप से रिलेट करके.
नेवर लाई टू देम. And just to conclude in the next 1.5 minutes, what else was asked, because don't take it otherwise, this was not just my interview. It didn't stop at this point. I was asked some HR questions, which I learned, a lesson I learned from my previous job was in corporate was, whenever you go to an appraisal meeting or interview meeting, have succinct answers, to the point answers. I gave one long answer and I was cut short in between. That was my first question about mountaineering. So have succinct answers. Next question, I was asked thrice in 3 different wordings from 3 different members. The question was, what will you bring to RBI, or why do you want to come to RBI? My 3 succinct answers were, 3 succinct points were, firstly, I am an IT engineer. I have done software development, and the fintech industry is a breakthrough for this finance and banking. And RBI is also trying to bring new regulations each day. So I think being on the other side, I can help from the software or IT point of view. Secondly, I am currently a banker in the biggest commercial bank of the country. I have seen, although in a humble 1 year, 8 months period, I have seen somewhat of what happens at a branch level, the workflow and commercial banking, a bit about commercial banking. Thirdly, my father, he has been a chief manager in Punjab National Bank. My wife, she's in RBI. So we have a very, ecosystem of bankers in my own home. So I will definitely bring a good value to RBI. And fourth, again, always be clear about your objectives. Fourth point, I really said, you have to believe me. I said that, so there is another romantic angle linked with RBI that I have, because nowhere it was mentioned in my biodata about Mithali. Sir, there is a romantic angle. My wife is already an RBI Grade B officer. If I get selected, I will not just achieve my contentment of Siddhartha, I will also be able to have a united family, which we have been living in a separate way for the past 10 months. And when I said this 4th reason, 3 reasons were like okay for the entire board. When I said this 4th reason, everybody was, they were either laughing or they were either smiling at me. Yeah, right. Because you have to be clear about your objectives. This is what my takeaway, this is what your takeaway is from this. After this, I was obviously grilled on various other aspects like trade finance. I was asked question on performance guarantee and financial guarantee. Another lesson I learned in that interview only, people say, you can reply to them, sir, I don't know, sorry, I'll check. And then they'll move on. No, that's not true. Single, sir, at that instant, when I said, sorry, sir, I don't know, after giving the definition of performance guarantee and financial guarantee, he asked a follow-up question. I said, I don't know. He said, okay, take a guess. Now, what am I supposed to do? I took my guess. The stars were aligned well on that day. My guess was correct. I went back and Googled. So that is also there. You can always be given a googly by any member. Be prepared for that, and don't lose your composure and your confidence. I told you already before, you are a grade B officer. That day you get a gate pass जिसपे लिखा होता है grade B officer Mr. Anmol Narula. उस पास पे लिखा that pass you should understand by looking at that pass itself. You are grade B for one day and behave like one.
राइट तो ये आपका ये इंटरव्यू में और कुछ और ऐड करना चाहोगे काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस काफी इंटरेस्टिंग था वैसे ये बहुत इनसाइट्स मिली होंगी कोई और कुछ प्रिपरेशन के पॉइंट्स भी अगर आप बताना
preparation points I would again say interview is during my interview the entire turmoil economic turmoil was going on all you all know energy crisis food oil crisis and then there was Russia Ukraine war inflation was breaking new records compared to Usain Bolt. It was breaking new records in advanced as well as in developing economies. So you have to be well versed through newspapers. Due to again my past background, I had a habit of reading newspapers. The ones I followed were Indian Express, Mint, and Business Standard. These are the 3 gold newspapers you must go through, at least the editorial part and the economy or RBI related part. And then there is obviously you by your interview you are well versed with economic survey, all those figures and data, but also with the phase 2 content related to RBI structure. RBI website is the holy grail for interview, this I must say. And one really important, I guess a new initiative by EduTap was they also gave those marathon sessions before phase 2 which were related even before I guess one day of phase 2 they released that these are the today's RBI's notifications. It was a lesson by Kritika ma'am, I clearly remember it. And usually aspirants are chilling or taking rest or revising because they don't want to get anything new. But the point is on the day of my interview an RBI guideline came on digital finance and I have written in my and by then I had already written in my biodata that I was involved in dispersing pre-approved personal loans at State Bank of India through its YONO app. Not directly I would be asked a question from that. So RBI website and EduTap marathon sessions related to RBI notifications. They are, believe me guys, I'm not sponsored. They just gave me these 2 books and I'm really happy. I'm going to read them. But this is not at all a paid or sponsored thing, but their free content, I'm really thankful to them. कोई ऐसा मार्केट में नहीं कर रहा, but even their free content is such a gold. I can't tell you, it has been really helpful even in my interview. So that's there. And about the rest of my interview, it was usually related to my branch work. But even that was fun because all panel members figured it out that let's joke with them. So one of the really distinguished member, he asked me, लोग ना ये complaint लेके he asked in Hindi कि आप कौन सी branch में? I said मैं बबियाल अम्बाला branch. वो महेश नगर के सामने, he said. And I was like, yes sir, I figured out he has been in my branch. And then he said, people come to me and they tell me कि SBI ना उनके पास Google Pay या Paytm की कंप्लेंट लेकर जाओ तो वो सीधा बोल देते हैं ये हम नहीं करते और ये आप देख लेना और हमारे फोन में ना योनो ऐप डाल के भेज देते हैं. So you have to maintain your personality, you have to have your confidence. I just said, sir, I agree with you partially, but for the other part, I humbly disagree. I said that, sir, I am a commercial banker. My bank is in competition. When people come to me and they don't have a YONO SBI app, due to security concerns and due to my own competition, I install YONO app in their phone with their permission. But if they have some problem with Google Pay or Paytm, I definitely try my best. I even write a wording for the mail that they have to send to Google Pay for their issues. This much I definitely do because I always ensure, as I said before, that customer goes from my desk with full satisfaction, and I just want his blessings with me. And obviously in front of you, those blessings worked and will be working, I hope.
Yes,
so this was my interview.
जो आपने ये बताया ना अनमोल about work, actually ये it is important, a very beautiful line you said that you have to maintain your personality, क्योंकि जो काम आप कर रहे हो, you are going to do the work in RBI also. So how sincere you are in the current work, वो ठीक है जो उन्होंने बताया that how can you prepare for the एग्जाम साइमल्टेनियसली, लेकिन वो काम में तो क्वालिटी चाहिए ना. दैट इज हाउ सिंसियर यू आर. वही चीज वहां भी दिखेगी और वो पूछेंगे भी आपसे कि अभी काम अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हो, अभी वहां सिंसियर नहीं हो तो बाद में कैसे हो सकते हो. बट इफ यू आर तो वो चीज हमेशा अप्रिशिएट ही होगी. तो इंटरव्यू तो बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग रहा. प्रिपरेशन के लिए भी आपको काफी टिप्स मिली हैं. एंड RBI वेबसाइट, न्यूज़पेपर्स and we are really grateful. आपको बहुत काम आया हमारा जो content था, and I would say इसी दिन के लिए शायद हम इतना motivation मिलता है हमें काम करने के लिए जब आप जैसे students से बोलते हैं. तो थोड़ा सा हमने phase 1 भी touch कर लिया, interview को हमने बहुत detail में जाना, जो बनता भी था in your case, exactly. है ना. तो कुछ चीजें would you like to share with us about phase 2 because FM specifically,
yeah, definitely,
वो specific to phase 2 है, और ESI में क्योंकि current affairs काफी is there in phase 1. तो थोड़ा सा हमें बताओ that how did you prepare, what was your strategy for FM and ESI paper, especially the static part.
Yeah, surely. Firstly, I'll touch the FM part. I had due to some hack or something, I had EduTap content with me. They launched a course for 1 rupee in 1 day. So I did something. So I had some content from EduTap already. And then I also had some content from other coaching institutes. And majorly due to my UPSC background and my revenge of GS3, so I was well versed with the basic concepts. Let me be clear at the first instance, because I don't want to be that guy who tells you ki, and literally this is the truth. 9th of June ko result aaya, I started preparing for mains on 10th of June. This is the truth. But I don't want to be that guy who tells you मैंने 10th June से 24th June तक इतनी prep की और मेरा mains हो गया. That is disrespecting the exam and fooling you guys. No, I had my concepts cleared due to the UPSC itself. Then I just needed to brush up with the RBI, what RBI demands in mains, and FN, finance and management, they were relatively new. But again, I gave SEBI that year. I told you about the whole story. It's 20th Feb, SEBI exam and election. So I gave SEBI that year. So in SEBI's phase 1, you have to go through finance and management a bit in a bit amount, and that was a sufficient period for me. Now again, consider it like blessings or whatsoever. I was asked such questions in my RBI phase 2 exam from this management part, questions on motivation, questions on ethics, and I deliberately chose my strong fortes. So ethics, again, UPSC ethics, I have done considerable amount. It helped me here. And in my management, a lot of questions were on how to improve motivation in organizations, because organizations are lacking motivation. I am telling you, I clearly wrote Marx's theory of alienation in that answer, which I was well familiar due to my optional in political science and international relations. I quoted theories from Marx, from Adam Smith, political economic theories, because RBI is at the end of the day a government organization. So you need to have a good political economic background in that. I'm not saying you need to have, but if you have it, your answers will show it to the examiner. Then there was also this was about management. Then the finance part, if you prepare for JIB, CIB, and also for the SEBI exam, your finance part is definitely well taken care of. Even if you are not preparing for these things, then believe me, content from EduTap is really good and respectable enough to do justice with the exams. Because believe me, even with due respect to the 2021 batch, even in 2021's batch, the 2021 exam in phase 2, some direct questions were asked. And now, this is for your safety. Now RBI is changing the pattern and making the questions more analytical and more observational. They are not direct key, give the definition of MSF. They are not like that anymore. Believe me, with due respect to the 21 batch. So you have to have a good in-depth analysis, analytical knowledge, and you have to scrutinize government policies. God forbid, maybe in the next phase, they will ask government policies even. Scrutinize the government policies. What are its advantages? So you have to be well versed with that. And EduTap, I know, it's an organic organization. They will give you content for that. You should be the one who is ready to accept it. All right. So that's their finance management done, sorted. ESI was a bomb. This year, ESI was totally a bomb for everybody who sat in that exam. जितने रुमाल ESI का पेपर खुलने के बाद उस कमरे में उठे ना मेंस में ऐसे पहुंचने के लिए, like this, everybody literally was like that. I mean, the keys of the keyboard stopped for some time. And let me tell you, this year again, I would say luck and hard work both work. A lot of questions were asked from international relations. There was a question which was asked about Ursula von der Leyen, if the pronunciation is right, who is the EU president, the president of EU. And the whole paragraph was on Raisina dialogue. Raisina dialogue was something that I used to so enjoy listening to speeches of those members. So even that year I heard the speech of Ursula von der Leyen, and the whole paragraph was on Raisina dialogue. and follow up 3 questions easily I was able to attempt. Then there was a question from this joint liability. I was going through my SME branch. I was done with my SME branch training of SBI. I knew what joint liability is. How many partners, which act, what is partnership deed, all this. This was there to help me there. And then there was also a lot of questions, a lot of bouncers in ESI. You have to, how many FTAs India has signed till date. So that was something I just, made a guess. I counted ASEAN countries, and then the latest one with India, the India UAE pact, that was 13. So you have to make sure that you go through, because that is one phase or one specific sector where you have to really grind yourself. You have to cram that data, accept the reality. Every exam can't be that observational and that analytical that you will be acing it. It will have its difficulties, and the difficulty of this exam is you have to cram a lot of data, a lot of figures and exact figures, names of even those chief guests to a particular event, and then I guess ESI will be sorted for you. And for the descriptive portion of ESI, again, I have already told you that it's becoming more analytical, more analysis based or scrutiny based. You have to mend yourself that way. Simply cramming the definitions will not work at all. Take my word or leave my word, that's up to you.
So a very important takeaway मुझे लगता है यहाँ से आ रहा है कि the hard work that you have done पढ़ाई में, कुछ भी जो background that you bring, उसमें जो भी पढ़ाई की है ना, it is gonna help you. In your case it was UPSC, your work background जो आप कर रहे थे. Same is for you guys. अगर आप prepare करो for any other exam, that is going to help you here also in one form or the other, directly or indirectly. Point again that is कि sincere रहना पड़ेगा जो भी कर रहे हो उसमें. सेकेंड ना एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है, अनमोल, आई नीड टू आस्क दिस, डिड यू टेक फुल लेंथ टेस्ट, जो एक प्रॉपर टेस्ट होता है ना, ऑब्जेक्टिव डिस्क्रिप्टिव, जो पेपर पूरा वो आपने लिया था फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ प्रैक्टिस?
सो मेरी पूरी प्रिपरेशन बिकॉज ऑफ माय वाइफ, मेरी जो फेज 1 फेज 2 की प्रिपरेशन है ये सारी RBI क्वार्टर्स में ही हुई है, ठीक है. सो आई वांटेड टू बी इन दैट एनवायरनमेंट. अपने रूम में स्टिकर्स लगाओ, पोस्टर्स लगाओ, ऐसा सब लगाओ. एंड सेकेंडली कमिंग टू हर आंसर, that so in that room itself, which gave me motivation, I really attempted the full length tests. Okay, you have to give those 5.5 hours in a continuity at during your mocks. If you don't give them, you will suffer a very cramped back. You will have a headache. और एग्जाम डे से पहले तो यू हैव टू वेक अप अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग, रिपोर्ट एट द सेंटर पे कोई ना कोई फर्स्ट होता ही होता है, जितना भी कर लो. मेरे पॉकेट में मोबाइल चला गया था, वो मैं छोड़ के आया, कुछ ना कुछ रहेगा. सो यू हैव टू बी क्लियर हेडेड एंड श्योरली गिव दोज डिस्क्रिप्टिव एग्जाम्स एट अ स्ट्रेच. Do not miss on that. Phase 1 is very easy. वो तो it's very chilled out. You watch Netflix after giving 2 hours test. You again watch YouTube. That's all right. But for those 5.5 hours continuous grind, you have to go through that. Even physiologically, you must give it, because writing content, getting marks at the very initial phase of your journey, that's not something that matters. But can you sit for the exam? And can you type it? I still remember, if you are watching, the guy who was sitting next to me, he said after I was done with my exam, he just said, brother, what are you doing currently? Which job are you in? I said SBI PO. He said to me, and I quote, दुनिया में कोई भी SBI PO इतना तेज कीबोर्ड पे टाइप नहीं कर सकता है, मैं नहीं मानता आप SBI PO हो. Alright, so I said कि मैं सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर था and I am used to that. He said, while you were typing the first answer, now for 2 minutes I was just seeing कि ये जो लिख रहा है इसको दिख भी रहा है. Is he even looking? Because you don't look at the keyboard. So develop those skills. This is the message. Develop the skills of typing, and don't be scared if someone tells you कि you have to type 250 words. If you are typing 100 words per minute, improve it gradually. But give those 5.5 hours continuous sitting. Write those. Try reaching to that 250 or even 300 words per minute typing speed level. Only then, these are the physiological needs of the exam. These are not the mental needs of the exam. And be fit, stay fit. This is my message to everybody. Please exercise. Please make your back strong. Head strong, सब करके जाएंगे. Phase 2 पे जो जा रहा है, give big respect to that. But have your strong back, have strong biceps, have strong arms, shoulders, because बहुत दर्द होती है. फिर English तक, when you reach that English part ना, you are like, please, exam over, ho, I don't care about the result. This is the physical mindset at that time. So
So I think wonderful tips these were, not only about the preparation, not only about the practice, लेकिन actually the things that are required. आपको fit रहना ही पड़ता है, and practice acquainting yourself with the atmosphere. तो full length test you guys must take, especially for phase 2. एक stretch में लिखना. तो
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
all the important pointers जो होते हैं ना touch करने की हमने कोशिश की है for your examination. Very very insightful, I would say this session was.
Yeah.
Not toppers talk, अनमोल कह रहे हैं this is aspirants talk.
Aspirants talk.
तो काफी इंसाइटफुल रहा मेरे हिसाब से. इफ यू लाइक्ड इट तो लेट अस नो इन द कमेंट्स कैसा लगा आपको ये सेशन. एंड एज अनमोल हैज सेड, इफ यू हैव एनी अदर क्वेरी आप वो भी डाल सकते हो. अनमोल कुछ पॉइंट्स डाल देंगे आपके वहां पे.
I'll be active in the comment section as far as I can manage.
So I think that shall be it for today. Anmol, we would like to have you again on our channel, on our platform.
Definitely, I would love to.
Right. So thank you guys for watching the video. Stay tuned. We'll meet soon, and thank you again.
Thank you.